Hello, welcome everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's been a few months, maybe just 1 month, but I'm going to just share with you guys what I've been working on. First off, I'm just going to go over the ebook. If you guys have been following me on Facebook or Instagram, you should have seen that dropped. Get your free copy. I want to just do a brief overview of what that looks like. But then, guys, we're going to head right into the meat of this discussion. And why are we here? We're going to do our first market analysis of 2025, updated with new data. So the spreadsheet that you guys have seen, that data was actually from July 2023. I was using it all last year to analyze data, analyze markets, but I updated it for December 2024, and I have some fascinating insights. So, what I really want to do is actually go through and show you guys just some hidden markets that I've seen over the last 3 or so years since I've been tracking this data on this market analysis tool, and actually discuss some areas possibly in your market. I know there's a few in Georgia, there's a few in Ohio that I've looked at that other wholesalers aren't targeting, but a lot of cash buyers are. And again, guys, I think the best market to be in is the one where there's not a lot of competition, but sellers want like to sell their homes and they don't want an arm and a leg for it. So let me just make sure I'm good on YouTube. Let me make sure I'm good on my Facebook group, and then we'll go ahead and roll into it, guys. So give me 1 second. I'm going to mute myself. Again, guys, thank you for joining. I'm just making sure I'm streaming on all of my platforms. Some people follow me on YouTube, other people follow me on in my Facebook group. So I'm just going to post in my Facebook group here, and then we'll get going. So thank you guys for joining. I know it was impromptu, but we're going to cover some good stuff here. And most of my information, guys, really going forward is probably going to be centered around marketing, right? So I'm about to revamp my Facebook group, and really, guys, that's where I'm taking my consultation business, and just that's what I love talking about. So it's strategic marketing analysis. And I don't think there's a lot of people talking about marketing. I can talk about it all day, every day when it comes to real estate, and still have stuff to talk about. I mean, because let's be honest, this is a topic that is ever evolving, right? You know, a lot of you guys, thank you guys for touching base with me, have been asking about the new regulations. If you guys have questions about that, I can give you some feedback on those regulations. I read them multiple times, and I have some great insight on them. So I'll give you guys just my 2 cents on those. So again, let me just make sure this is posted inside of my Facebook group, and then we'll be good to go. So, 1 second. And YouTube, let me just guys, do I sound good on YouTube? Most of you guys are watching me over there. So I'm gonna mute myself over here. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. So great. Jermaine, how's it going? Been hitting you up. We've been communicating via Facebook Messenger. So it's so good to see you. So glad you're able to join. So guys, let's get into it. We've had some exciting happenings on this end. I want to share with you. Number one, guys, an ebook. So guys, if you aren't aware, you can follow me for any significant amount of time, probably like a month. As you know, I come and go. It's not because I'm like going and taking a vacation. It's quite the opposite. Guys, I'm working over here, and I just love working on the business. I love working on the analytics, and I love working on content. right? So it's like a full-time job when I do it. So, um, so I'm gonna overlay the chat just while I'm going through this. So what I'm gonna share with you guys is a playbook. So guys, if you haven't gotten this, you can go to my website. I revamped it. It's going to be buildascale.com/playbook and also that QR code in the left hand of the screen, left hand of the screen, I think. It will take you there. And guys, I'm just going to give you the 80/20 of this. So, man, I've been working on this thing like every night for like the last 2 months. Definitely in December, I started it, but I really finalized it in the last couple of weeks. Proofread it a ton of times. Guys, this is as good as anything you get on Amazon, I personally think. This isn't just something put together and just to get content out. This is something I've actually thought about. I want to actually uh, give you guys, if I were to start real estate today, what would the steps be that I would take in order to start a marketing arm of my company, and what would be some of the pitfalls and issues and sort of difficulties that I went through, how and how to bypass them. So let me just go open up this, uh, and then I'll just show you guys Toolmakers playbook. Okay, cool. And I'll just show you guys what this looks like. And excuse all the tabs up here. We'll go ahead and roll into it. So Dealmakers playbook. So this book is essentially a step-by-step guide. If you want to make $1 million in wholesaling real estate a year, how would you do this? I've done it before and I've seen people do it like over and over again. Not just seen them, I've been part of businesses rather. That's a better way to phrase it. Not just as a consultant, but as like an actual marketing director. And I was part of that. And guys, the way that large real estate wholesaling companies operate is quite different from how we operate as, not myself, but as you may operate as a newer company. And until you see how that's done on the other side, you won't realize that there may be some stuff that you're doing right now in your business and having some misplaced or incorrect mindset or paradigms rather about the business. And you're in a situation, guys, where you may be holding yourself back. I don't like phrasing it like that, but there's really no other way to say it. So I actually went through and I created a section here where I talked about the 8 marketing myths. And these were just myths that I had when I first started. My eyes weren't really open until I then started working with larger companies, and I scaled my company up to 7 figures. I first did it myself, and then I worked with dozens of other companies to do it with them, not as an owner, but more as like a team member, as a marketing director. Okay, so myth number one: landing one deal per month requires minimal effort. I'll just play it small, and I've seen a lot of investors try to dip their toe into investing, right? And so what they would say is like, I just want to close one deal. Like closing one deal in real estate, especially your first deal, like it's no big. I even understand if you've done this for 20 years and you've seen everything. Then you might say, I just need to close $200,000 deals or $100,000 deals a year, and I'll be good. This would be pre-foreclosure, short sales, probate, very unique situations where structuring right, you could close 2 deals annually and make $250,000 or even $500,000. 4 deals to make $1 million. I wouldn't say um, that's how that's correct ideology if you want to first hit $1 million because I'm pretty sure those people hit 1 million multiple times over before they decide to do that. If you're just starting, guys, your goal should be building your systems up uh, like a seven-figure business, but you don't need that many resources monetarily or time, energy, effort, team members. In that situation, guys, really, you would you would need to treat your business as if you're closing at least 3 deals a month. You need to build it as if you're closing at least 3 deals a month, okay? So, that's one myth that I wanted to dispel. I'm not gonna read all of them to you because you guys can, again, get the ebook for free. One of the ones that I hear often is and all these are really good, but this isn't the focus of the call, so I don't wanna go over all these myths. Okay, so this is another one that I had. especially if you're targeting niche data and you got beginner's luck closing deals off of pre-foreclosure list or really tightly motivated lists. Like if you're list stacking, you may say, well, you may have closed several deals, and you may be at the point where you want to hire cold callers and lead managers and acquisitions managers. Well, you need to get them more deals, right? Excuse me, more leads so they can close more deals. So they have leads to work. Well, when you expand out your marketing, your leads aren't going to be as targeted or motivated as they were when you were driving for dollars, door knocking, or hanging bandit signs. So that's the paradigm that one needs to make an adjustment. Uh, and it's not saying that your marketing is failing. These are just the realities of scaling. You can either do one or two things. You can either do that same door knocking strategy in another market, but what will you do? Recruit other door knockers? I mean, at that point, you might as well just hire cold callers to cold call lists, and you're back at square one. Or if you're targeting niche data, you can try to scrape niche data nationwide. But even if you get nationwide pre foreclosures, what you have 20,000 of them, you work them to death. You're cold calling them like you're calling broad data. And if that data is accessible to get, and other people are dialing it, it's diluting the list anyway. So you're going to have to get more leads to close one of these leads that were usually hot. Now that everybody's targeting the list, they aren't as motivated anymore, which gets you back to square one anyway. So, guys, we need to understand when you're doing things by yourself and you're putting in that sweat equity and you're doing marketing yourself, you're going to have a very high conversion rate. But the norm is that most of your leads are going to be unmotivated. It doesn't mean your marketing's not working. It just means that you're just scaling your business. And this is what it looks like. It's either keep on door knocking, keep on doing bandit signs, including one to two deals like every quarter or maybe a year, or just know that you're going to have to spend more marketing and in order to get to that six-figure mark. But the mistake people make is they say, "Well, I'm targeting a lot of homeowners, and these homeowners aren't motivated, and I'm spending all this money on data. I'm not getting any deals, yada yada yada." It could be a slew of problems that's causing that. But what I've often seen is that in these situations right here, if everybody, eh, isn't highly motivated, again, they're going to say, "My marketing's failing," and the easy thing would be is to revert back to what worked. And I've I wanna say fought, like, physically, but verbally, I have had so many conversations, and I'm just exhausted. I don't do this anymore. I used to when I was a little bit younger, I had, gray hairs, but I don't do this with nothing. They want to say, "Well, the I'm going to do things my way and I'm going to target a niche list." Guys, sometimes you may have to just go down that path yourself and you may have to let somebody go down that path, all for them to come back a year or two later and be like, I see why you did it this way. I've seen these patterns over and over again. And some of these myths, I'm telling you guys, if you want to figure things out yourself, you can. But for the people that actually want to get results and achieve and accomplish something in their life a lot sooner and get to their goals a lot sooner, not just mess around and play around in business, this book is for you. This book isn't for people that want to do things their way. You're in my space, you're in my territory. Hope you guys respect that. And if you get this new book, you must trust what I'm saying is correct. We can have conversations about certain things, about maybe how I wrote some things and phrased some things, or maybe the poor analogies I use. But as far as the substance, guys, either take it, try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, do PPC and get a whole bunch of properties that are rule. But I go through the exact reason, the foundation of number one. We start off with what's wholesale. That's not the basis of this book, but there's some people that might be getting this book and they they haven't they don't know what wholesaling is, or maybe they have an incorrect notion of what it is. So I talk about it very briefly in 2 pages. But then the meat of it is when I start building that like foundation, and we start working our way up the proverbial pyramid here, where we start talking about the wholesaling cycle. And I love this analogy here, where I talk about the cycle of getting a deal. And let me make sure my audio and just everything's good. Okay, my audio is good. Okay, cool. Hey, McCray, what's going on? Hey, dude. Side note, I was cleaning up my Facebook list. I saw you disabled your account, so I'm glad that your account's back, or maybe you had two accounts. So I did notice that, so I'm glad you're here, guys. McCray and I go back way back. We lived in the same neighborhood, Brandy Mill, and went to the same high school. So it's good seeing you. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing. And then Graham, shout out to Graham, guys. Graham, congratulations to him. He just got baptized. So he's now a follower of Christ. So we love to see it. And that happened over the weekend. So congratulations, Graham. I wanted to give you a shout out there. So I'm glad you jumped in. And Alfred Elliott, haven't seen that name before. So he said, I need your method applied to apartments or industrials. So, yes, this actually can be applied to apartments and industrial complexes as long as your list tool can pull that data. And I've applied this system in some of my clients' companies. So, if you want to talk about that, we can. One of my good friends, and he's actually a client of mine named Brian. I'm not going to drop his last name, but he used this method I'm showing you, and he got a pretty nice apartment complex. Let's I'll just tell you this: he's basically retired, so he's in Mexico now, living it up. Has a nice house out there, but he's basically making residuals off of his apartment complex. So yeah, Alfred, hit me up on. If you go to my website, you'll see my contact information at the bottom of it, and you can email me there or just look me up on Facebook, CC Garland. I'll send you guys. Let's get back to it. Um, let me just wrap up this playbook again. I don't want to go over this too much, but again, guys, I spent, as you can see, I spent a lot of effort putting this together. You should not find any typos in it. I'm a stickler about grammar. So I proofread it. I have my friend proofread it. She did like 10 times over. I proofread it again this morning. I slept on it multiple nights. I could have had it out last week, but I was even catching up stuff this morning, just small grammatical or small formatting things that I may have only be able to catch. But guys, like, so that's the first part of it. We go into the wholesaling cycle. So this is the term I came up with, right? And so essentially, this is about uh, uh, the steps in the wholesaling process. Okay, so after working with thousands of investors one on one and having a inside peek in their companies, I realized, shoot, all these companies basically follow have the same process as far as how they move their deals through the pipeline. Now, what I added is market research. A lot of investors, guys, they just go to list pool, no strategy at all. And so what they end up doing, they end up not targeting all the data that they could target in that particular market, right? So I could go in the market with my strategy when I do my market research, which is what we're going to discuss here on this call. But if I do that, I may be able to get 5 months of unique data. What's unique data? Data that I'm pulling that I'm not repeating. Okay. I may be able to get 30, 40, 50,000 records there, and you're only able to get 10 before you repeat data because number one, you're not doing your market research and determining how many zip codes are in your MSA, your metropolitan statistical area, and you're also not having a specific list tiers that you're pulling. So a lot of your lists may be overlapping, and then you may like pull duplicate data that second month, and half your list you upload to your dollar may be duplicate, and your cold callers are like, "What the heck are you doing?" So strategy is really important, guys. A lot of what I talk about are the things that other people aren't talking about. That's what I enjoy. I like revealing things to people that are not that are important, but not necessarily spoken about. As we get further along in this process, guys, these are things like to the bottom and then to the left of this wheel. These are things that you guys hear a lot about. We hear about a lot about closing, dispo, acquisitions. I have sections on all these areas in the ebook, but I mainly cover market research, list pulling, cold marketing, and lead follow up. Right? That's why I focus. Or excuse me, cold marketing. Lead follow up, I have like 2 pages on. But cold marketing is like 8 pages, 8 or 9 pages of really in depth information. Guys, this thing it's free. So go get it, share it. All I ask, guys, if you found value in it, let me know. I do this stuff. I don't know how good or bad it is, or even if it was okay. If you're like, that's decent. Give me some feedback, right? If it was amazing, let me know. Tag me in Facebook. That type of stuff keeps me going and lets me um, it keeps me motivated to get stuff out to the audience because I don't have to do this. I love doing it, but I only love doing it so as much as you guys are finding value of it, right? I don't really post on YouTube these days just because YouTube doesn't push my content. So I post on Facebook because I have an audience. So, I mainly generate my business by my income by doing deals for one. I'm a wholesaler at heart, investor at heart, and then doing data consulting and strategic consulting and building teams. That's what I love doing. But I would say like over 70% of what I make is from deals, and everything else is just a bonus. So I don't get bored with talking to the same employees all day, every day. They're like, man, CC, we got the business taken care of. You can go help somebody else. We don't want to see you anymore. But I go over my zip code analysis formula, guys. I'll give you guys an example here. I go over. Let's go back actually to the top. There's some other details I dropped here that I want to highlight. Oh, guys, I have so many cool like graphics in here too. So yeah, again, the cold marketing section. This is uh, this is like 8 to 9 pages long. It goes over my whole like ideology and then process for pulling lists, and then really not pulling lists for really what you should do when you're cold calling, right? Specifically, I talked a lot about agencies. I know you guys are using agencies a lot, so I go over how to evaluate good lead generation agencies. And I know if you guys are like me on Facebook, your profile is all about real estate. You're probably getting hit up either through email or DMs by a lot of cold calling companies, and I love to see it. Go get your money, go hustle. But at the same time, it can be overwhelming for the investor, especially if you're working or all this stuff is like a foreign language to know how do you choose from them? Most people say, "Well, I'll just choose the cheapest one." Guys, I got an email from somebody yesterday. This is why I don't offer lead generation anymore because I can't compete with this, and I'm not going to. Where somebody was offering $3 cold calls. Like, dude, I don't know. I can't knock it, but if that's the way it's going, I'm like, you might as well do work for free. But they may be good, but there's levels that I put the agencies that work with me, they have to go through, right? So I talk about identifying red flags. I I talk about when you should hire your own agency or hire your own staff. Okay. I talk about early hiring mistakes to avoid. So if you were to hire your own staff, like what mistakes you should avoid, and for me personally, one of the issues I dealt with, and I see a lot of new investors or investors when they start hiring, even tenured investors, they have presumptions about what the cold caller should look like, should sound like, and what tasks they should be able to do. And guys, certain tasks may require no accent, but a cold caller, I'm not looking for perfection. What does right look like for a cold caller? My cold caller does not need to be a 10 out of 10 as far as English and grammar goes. They don't have to have broken English, or they shouldn't have broken English on the phone. But also, they shouldn't be an American, somebody from Venezuela or from Colombia. No, they should be from the Philippines. Lead managers and then follow-up specialists and then also the acquisition manager, that's another story, but all your cold callers got either there or Egypt. Egypt's producing some great people, but they're about neck and neck right now. I would say you're probably able to find a lot more people in the Philippines. Okay. All right. So let's let's just go over one more thing here. I'm skimming it. Oh, guys, I have so many juicy graphics in this thing. I think you guys will enjoy. So I have this marketing pyramid I created. So this is like the food pyramid we had in grade school, and we had, I don't follow this as my diet, but the USDA, they state that all of your grains and stuff should be the base of your diet. I don't think that's correct. I don't think a lot of people agree with that these days either. But based off of the conventional food pyramid, This is analogous to cold calling. So cold calling should make up the majority of your lead generation, not cold calling, single line dialing, or really niche data that will run out in a day or two, but a broad yet targeted list, a motivated list. Okay, we're talking about tax delinquent, distressed absentee owners, distressed owner occupants that bought their house for less than 100K or maybe even 50K. People that own their homes for 10 years or longer. People that are sitting on maybe a quarter an acre or a half an acre lot. A combination of all of those factors, you should at least have 10,000 records that you're targeting. Then cold texting, that's the second tier. So we do both in tandem. Because guys, there's a different demographic. After me doing all my data last year, there's a completely different demographic that responds back to my cold texting than to my cold calling. I target the same list all the time simultaneously, and I rarely, if ever, 1 out of 1,000 leads, I'm telling you, will be duplicates. So what does that tell me? There's a percentage of people that will reply back to your texting. There's a completely different demographic. It's dichotomous, right? Completely different demographic that will respond back to your. And then you're going to have your cold and follow up leads. Here's a trap. Let's just say you have 300 leads in your CRM. You start following up with these leads. You say, "Man, I love what Cece said about following up with my leads. I have 300 leads in my system. I haven't called them. I'm going to call them." And you lock up 7 contracts in a month, and then 3 or 4 the next week. And then it's getting summertime, and you might ramp up. You might get 5 leads. You might say, "Man, I could just live off a follow up." Well, there was a reason why you got to the follow up. These leads down here that you cold called years ago, or they came in your CRM years, months ago, man, you basically are sitting on a treasure trove of data here. Um, it's like you opening up a old garage, like when people find those garages in the middle of nowhere, and it has a whole bunch of brand new old cars. Well, those cars are still old, and even though they look new, if you drive them around, they'll probably need parts and stuff replaced off. You go and get so much mileage off of them, and then the parts are probably not even in use, right? So we're talking about people that find these garages with brand new 1999 or 1990 Honda Accords in them. You know, who's making parts for those? So you're going to need to replenish. Those parts are, using that analogy, are in this case, these follow-up leads with these leads that you're calling today. Great. Close deals up on them. But one issue that I've seen a lot of investors, or a mistake I've seen a lot of investors make, is they get obsessed with one thing that works, and it's usually something that saves them money, and then they just do that. And I'm I'm telling I tell people these principles, and they like want to fight me about it, or they want to say, well, maybe I can use this dialer and it'll still work. Or maybe I can do, maybe I can do this and implement this in your system and it'll work. Guys, I don't make the rule. These are observations I made. I'm an analytical person. And these are just observations I made. I think I know what I'm talking about. After 10 years, I finally feel comfortable after obsessing over this stuff day and night for 10 years, putting this out, and there's not much newness that I will see happen in the market. Let's just say that this ebook I'm going to put out every year, just indefinitely, and it's going to be different versions, but not a lot of it's going to change. I may change the graphics just to keep it updated and fresh, but not a lot of the fundamental information is going to change in it. Okay, that's why I took my time with putting this out, because I know year over year I'm going to be able to use this and give this to people and tell them, "Hey, you're starting wholesale and marketing, read this." So, guys, if you're not generating the leads you need to generate, if you're not sure about if you're getting the most out of your team, I don't guys, even if you're closing a lot of deals annually, and if you are doing inbound lead generation only, I encourage you to read this and let me know if there's something that you picked up on that changes your mindset, or you're like, "Hey, I appreciate what you're saying, but I wanna keep doing what I'm doing." And that's all fine, right? It's not really to convince anybody, it's really to get people set on the right path that are already doing this. So, guys, I could talk about this a long time. I have checklists in here, so to troubleshoot your campaign, you can print this out, guys. I made this printable for you, so you can print this on desk. I have a copy right here on my desk. I'm doing my campaigns. Guys, all this I created. I created this, guys, from top. This isn't ChatGPT. I didn't. I only used that to grammar and basically just proofread my sections here. But all this stuff, guys, was straight off the dome. No AI, no VAs, purely from the heavens above through my noggin, through my lips, through my fingers to you guys. So I think we don't have a lot of unique information in the marketplace out here. And I also have it as school definition. So guys, that's gonna wrap that up. I really just want to go over that. And then let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, guys. So yeah, if you're still on Craig, just hit me up later. Sounds good. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna hide the chat overlay, and then I'm gonna show you guys my market analysis for 2025. So let me pull that up. Um, analysis, okay. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so I am going to share my whole window with you guys just because you can't see my filters if I don't have it there. If you, I'm going to zoom in, but I may forget to zoom in on some of this data. So if you can't see it, just let me know. Um, okay, let's get to it. So this data, guys, is from 2024. I love this spreadsheet because I started scrubbing this data. I don't do it every month. That would just be, you can't really get any insights as far as how the markets change month after month. The real value of this spreadsheet is not only that it has data updated for 2024, if I updated 2023 as well, so we can compare apples and apples. So 2023 and 2024, rather, I updated. 2024 is missing some data here, July 2024, because I scrubbed it last month in December. So as of this recording, it's January 29th. So I scrubbed this in like earlier this year. So the December data was all there, but it wasn't giving me the July data. So there's like 3,000 zip codes that's missing. But I think for most of the larger markets, the data would be there. And it's helpful again when you're doing like trend analysis, which is just comparing trends over time. Um, Comparing again July to July, right? That's going to give you an even apple to apple comparison, right? So I don't need to get the data for July, August, and September, October, because if you're like, well, the data is trending downward and for July and August, and then August to September and September to November, yeah, no duh, because it's at the end of the year. But if you see a downward trend or upward trend year over year, that really tells the whole story. Okay, so and then December it might be like a little bit lower, but this is a year and a half jump here from 2023 to 2024. So what I'm doing is I'm just hiding this data here for 2024 in July, and I'm going to be going off of the data for 2020. Yeah, I'm going to be going off the data for December 2024. So I'm hiding July data. Okay, great. So overview for everybody that hasn't seen this sheet or haven't seen it in a while. What are we looking at here? All 25,000 zips in the United States are listed here. So let me check all this. So it's like 25,000 zip codes. One second, I have another filter. My filter. Okay, so there are 25,669 zip codes in the United States from Redfin, right? That's where I got this data from. And the great thing about this is it has every city name in here, zip code correlated with that city, and then the county. So just depending on what list pulling tool you're using or what area you're in, if you want to see all the zip codes for I'm in Charlotte, so Mecklenburg County. Cool. I could just pull those up right there. If I want to see all the zip codes for just Charlotte, then I can filter this as well. I rarely filter by counties with this. Actually, I do filter by counties. I rarely filter by city, rather, using this zip code analysis sheet. So you see if I do Charlotte, but see, yeah, there's multiple Charlottes, and Charlotte, Port Charlotte. What I'll do is just do NC. It'll just give me all the cities in Charlotte. Well, this did all of North Carolina. Anyway, since I'm recording as well, I'm streaming. This is going to go a little bit slow, so I'm going to try not to filter this. The filtering will go a little bit slow, so I'm not going to try not to filter this as much. Okay, so what are we doing here, guys? I want to show you just the markets that I have in my notes over here that I have written down. Let me grab my pen here. Yeah, here we go. And, and we'll start analyzing them. So, what am I looking for? This would actually be a great time to reference the book. So, I'm going to be referencing this quite often. So, let's talk about the. I actually go into table of contents. So, market research. So, what are we looking for in market research? So, guys, we are looking for identifying a good market. It's going to be uh, 1 million plus in population. So, this is my standard for 2025. These are going to be your major MSAs. So, if you're in a market and you're not sure what the population is, I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. We're also looking for a decent mixture of distressed and proper zip codes, meaning we don't just want to target Boston, Boston, Massachusetts, right? Or somewhere in New Hampshire or Connecticut. And all those northeastern markets are a lot of maybe affluent California markets. We don't want to target those areas. It's not a decent mix of distressed and prosperous zip codes. Prosperous, you can go ahead and interchange with affluent. It has parts that are turning around. So we don't want parts that are completely gentrified, and completely turned around and have done it 180. But we also don't want areas that are Detroit 2012 and 2015, where there's maybe Baltimore 2012 or Baltimore like 2018 to 20. We don't want areas. Uh, we don't want those areas either. Okay? Um, and we also want where sellers are friendly and cooperative. How do you determine this, guys? This is basically where I've determined the median sale price needs to be at or under 350K for all of the zip codes in the market. So I'm an analytical person at heart. And so some people may say, well, how do you know if they're cooperative? Well, my friend, you may say, well, Jimbo told me that everybody that he talked to was nice. Okay, what does that mean? How do you like use data and analytics to determine that before we go into market? And what I've seen, guys, there's an inverse relationship. The more affluent an area is, the more that the median sale prices are, the higher they are, the less motivated or cooperative they are, or receptive the sellers will be in our offer. Right. So if the area is super affluent and the median sale prices are 500K, 600K, 700K, you're going to have a lot of people that, even if you're targeting distressed areas, they're going to say, well, let me take this contract to my attorney. I want to buy your house. You're just going to be super Alex. Or I want to, or I want $1 million for my house because they're building a Whole Foods and this industrial complex, and they're bringing Boeing to the city as well. Right? They're going to be educated. I'm not saying the people working with are dumb, but guys, people in lower income levels, they're probably just trying to survive, right? And they probably don't have an attorney on retainer. I'm just going to tell you guys what it is through the PC stuff. I'll be professional here, but I just hope I don't have to dance around things. They're not resourceful. So when I looked at all the data and I observed these trends, I said, okay, well, really the 80/20 of all this is just finding areas that are not affluent and then determining what that is. Now, this number was 250 back when I did this in 2021. Okay. Because the median home values or the average home value for any home in the United States was around like 300K. Now the average home price is 400 and like 36K last I saw. So I use that as a gauge, like whatever's at or really near at or above that price is affluent for the time, right, nationally, like the market's affluent. Anything below that, I would consider more average. Now, 400, I think that's gonna be, 400 is not the new 200. Let's just say that. That's the sort of price. So, I'm not saying, well, any market that's for exactly 400K is not affluent, or if it's 380K, it's not affluent. I still wouldn't go near a market that's 380K. I'm saying 350K is like the max. If you go to 200, there's like no markets that you wanna be in. Maybe Memphis. I don't know how many people wanna go there. Um, Elisa, shout out to you, Elisa. She's got our realtor's license in Tennessee. So she's there. So it's a good market, but you definitely have to have context. Okay, guys, so let's get into it. We'll check my questions if I have anything. Okay. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions. If not, I'm just gonna go. I'm getting in a flow here. All right, great. So, um, first market, let's do the example I have on here in my zip code and out in the zip code analysis in my spreadsheet or my ebook, and that's going to be Jacksonville. So, again, I'm explaining this just in case I have people that have not done this exercise with me. Jacksonville, Florida, USA. The first thing you want to do, guys, is you want to figure out the Jacksonville MSA, right? I type that in Google, and whatever comes up um, is the Wikipedia page that comes up. That's what I click, right? So I do this. This is part of my process. Then I go I go about halfway down the page. Yeah, maybe about halfway down the page. In this case, it's on the top, and then you should have a chart with all of your counties. Guys, this is the MSA. So this is where a lot of investors just like don't start at. They start at just like pulling a list. And if you start at pulling a list, you may just say, well, let me just target, everything in Duval County when you have one, two, three, four other counties that are almost a half a million people. So three, four, five, yeah, roughly half a million people with these combined. So think if you're targeting only Duval County, how much meat you're leaving on the bone. And so you guys may say, well, nobody's out in all these other areas. Guys, I would agree with you as far as like the ones that have the lower population. Baker County, there's probably nobody there, but you don't know. Like literally, we don't know until we do the exercise. So I'm going to do the exercise. So I'm going to take all these counties: Duval, St. Johns, Clay, Nassau, and Baker from this spreadsheet, and I'm going to put them in another. I want to put them in a separate tab here, and I only do one MSA per tab. So I've seen investors make this mistake with the zip code analysis sheet is they've wait, excuse me, I want that one. I like starting with the most populous zip code or county first. But I've seen investors use this zip code analysis sheet incorrectly, and they would put multiple MSAs. Like if they were in Georgia or Florida, they would put Jacksonville on here, Miami, you know, Nassau, Seminole, like all these other MSA Florida on this area. Real estate's local, right, guys? That's what a lot of agents say, and that's true for for this market analysis as well, is you are looking at the market locally because you're, you're comparing apples to apples. So we want to make sure we're comparing Duval County with, Baker County, Clay County, St. John. Okay, so first one is going to be Duval. Okay, so we have multiple Duvals. Most of them are in Florida, the Texas ones. Get all this data, and we put this up here. Okay, cool. And then the next one was St. Johns County. I think it's Saint, S-A-N-T, St. Johns. Johns. Okay, great. So that's all in Florida. All right, next one is Clay County. And just one important note, guys, want to make sure you're only filtering or only including the counties for your specific MSA. Your specific MSA, like your state. So like when I do Clay, I'm going to get Clayton, and then there's multiple Clay counties. So I need to make sure it's going to be Florida. You're only going to have this pro tip that I learned. You're only going to have one county with the same name um, in each in each state. So you're not going to have two Clay counties. You may have like Clayton and Clay, like in Texas and Houston. There's Harris, and then there's Harrison. So they shouldn't have done that, but that probably happened before they put like national naming standards in place. Just like in your city, you're not going to have two main streets. Nassau County. And as you go lower in the chart, there will be fewer and fewer zip codes. These zip codes, they might be there might not be anything there, but I want to be the one to determine that there's nothing going on in those markets, right? Like I don't want to take the assumption of some some guy that I met at the supermarket that's like, man, you you shouldn't be targeting Baker County. There ain't nothing but cows out there. And that guy's been saying the same thing for 20 years. Like, this is how I actually determine, and me being an introvert, too, and I don't like asking for help. I want to be able to do as much as I can by myself. When somebody told me initially, they were like, well, you just have to talk to realtors and get an idea if the market's good. Like when I was on Bigger Pockets, people were saying that. I said, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like most of them are clueless. I don't think they'll take offense by me saying that. I don't think they got in the business to do this. So, they're clueless. But that doesn't mean they're not great at their job. They're great at talking to people and all that. Like that's great. But and it's not my forte to sit up from sun up to sundown and explain to somebody, why their property isn't selling, or either trying to, closing attorney at 10 at night to try to get it to close the next day. I don't like be their therapist. Like that's not my thing. Like that's their thing. That's not my thing. So they could be like, well, Susie, those investors, man, they're just harsh. Those investors, they're just so cold. Great. You're clueless. I'm cold. We're in the right industry. So anyway, I thought that was silly advice back then when I first started. I think it's silly advice. Okay, so let's talk about the. I'll hide this little field here. So what am I looking at here, guys? And then I'm going to speed this up here because I have several other MSAs I want to get through. But I just want to talk about the trade craft and then just tell you guys too, like the real value of looking at this data and having this spreadsheet as well, and seeing the data like year over year. So what's like the first thing that's pointed out to guys? You know, this may look like a huge sway, 70,000 to 284, 247, 84. Now, th their home sold in this zip code, 32202, is low. And so I usually eliminate any zip codes that are below 20 homes sold, just depending on how large the market is. I really like using 50 homes sold as the minimum. But let's go ahead and look at the average price range of all the zip codes here. So this is the first elimination factor we're going to do. So let's look at my deal makers playbook, right, the chapter on determining a great market. Okay, 5-step formula for determining a great market. So we looked at Jacksonville. We put all the zip codes on one spreadsheet, all the counties, zip codes in one spreadsheet. Boom, check, check. Now let's look at the median sale price. So I did it for the last one before. Um, what did I say the median sale price should be? 350K or less. 395K. Now, am I going to say, man, let's just throw it away? Well, we have over a million population, but what did I also say too? I like usually seeing 100 zip codes. And see, a market must have 100 zip codes in the MSA for us to consider entering it. Usually, if there's more than a million population, you're going to have at least like 70 or 80 zip codes. But this is a million population, and there's not enough zip codes. As more zip codes we have to target, the more housing units that we have to target. The more housing units that we have to target, the longer we can stay in that market and target unique data, guys. When I say unique data, I mean unique homeowners, like unique list without overlapping the list, right? And also without sacrificing the quality of the list either. Okay, like just targeting people that bought their houses for last from last year just to be in the market. Like we're not doing that. So let's do the average of the days on market, and let me expand these fields out here. I know what you guys are familiar with where these fields are. So I'm going to freeze, freeze the top row. Market. Okay, these large anyway. Okay, cool. So days on market 78, and then the home sold 119. So honestly, I like what I'm seeing as far as the home sold days on market. Let's see what I want there. Days on market. I put it in the text section. Guys, days on market, I like to be uh, below 60. Now this was in December, so it's going to be a little bit higher. In July, it was probably closer to 60, which is why if you do have this data, if you can just do this for July, it might be best. But you know, I like using the most updated data, so I'm going for December. Okay, 395K median sale price, 78 days on market, 120 home sold. I'm not a fan of this market. Like if you're in this market already and you want to target it, and stay here, for sure, you can stay there. There's some markets where I'm just like, even if you're there physically, I would like try to go somewhere else. But if you're in your physical market, and especially if you don't have like a lot of momentum, I think it'll behoove you to stay there. Like try to make it work, but if you're in Jacksonville or a market of this size, guys, or the data looks like this, as long as it's not like 600K as a median sale price, even if it's 500K, you're cool. You just might have to do bandit signs. You might have to be comfortable with saying, "Hey, it might take me 200 leads when I first start to get a property under contract to account for the market being affluent, and if you haven't closed deals yet, to account for errors that you may make in the whole process, right? Locking things up too high, uh, saying the wrong thing to sellers, right? You need to give yourself that buffer, okay? But just know the higher that this median sale price is, the more leads, what you should be thinking of, all right here. The higher the medium sale prices are, the more leads it will take to generate a contract. Okay, boom. Right. So that's what that's what we could tell by this number here. Each one of these numbers tells me something about the market as it relates to me as a wholesale. The days on market tells me this. The higher days on market tells me that um, the less cash buyers will be in my properties. Right? Because think, if I'm a flipper and I'm flipping a house, if do I want to be somewhere where it's going to take 133 days to flip the home? But not just flip it, but to sell it, right? So, like, guys, it's super important here. So this is why your market analysis is important. So some of you guys may say, well, there's no buyers there. You can determine all of that before you go in the market. If you're in an area and let's just say you targeted this whole county and you got a really targeted, motivated list of pre-foreclosures, but you have 32009 on your list, and only people that are interested in selling their houses are people that during the year haven't recovered from a recession. I don't know who that would be, but let's just say they're refinanced on their house in the last couple of years, and they during the year don't have any equity, and then they need to take top dollar, and then it's taking 356 for the days for homes to sell, and only two homes are sold. So this tells me there's no cash buyers there. The lower the cash, the home sold, the fewer buyers. Okay, so this tells me the story of the market, right? And it answers all these questions that a lot of wholesalers, investors, use the term you want to use. I use them interchangeably because all wholesalers are investors. Wholesaling is just an extra strategy that you have. Your contract gives you the ability, if you want, to actually close on it. So you are the buyer up until you sign it. Okay. But when I look at these numbers, a lot of investors, what I've seen is that they will experiment with their marketing dollars, and then they'll get mad when things don't turn out in their favor, when they could actually do this analysis up front and save themselves time, energy, and effort. And then what happens too is, unfortunately, they blame areas that don't need to be blamed for the marketing blunders that they're right. Oh, my list is bad. Oh, my list vendor sold me this list. Man, I didn't get any deals. Only people I got were people that wanted to sell their price for 600,000. Well, did you tell them that your list vendor, or did you go on your list potential and say, "Hey, I want to eliminate 32034"? Hey, that's on you. It's not their job to do that for you. Okay? So market analysis is so important. For me, market analysis is more about eliminating areas and criteria than including data. Because the true advantage that we have when we do outbound marketing, guys, through cold calling, cold text, is every lead that comes into the pipeline, you can determine, unless the seller gives you like some crazy random house, which only happens a handful of times a month or a quarter, really, for me. But you're going to get every property that comes in that your pipeline. It's just going to be a matter of the seller's motivation and um, and the price, right? As far as if you want that deal or not, or if the deal works for you. It's not even in my mind as far as when leads come into my CRM these days, but it was when I first started, like, getting rural properties and going on a wild goose hunt for rural properties in the middle of nowhere, having mobile homes on my list because I just got a county list and I just decided to target everything, you know, or targeting rural low density areas. So I don't mind targeting low density areas because some of these areas have turned around significantly since I pulled this data right in 2020. But if there's two homes sold, guys, I'm not saying I won't target that area, but I might just have some tighter filters on the list that I pull. Like I might in this area, if it's low density, there's 3,000 people in population. I know that there's going to be a lot of sprawl there. Or a lot of farmland. Like if I look at it from like a satellite view on Google Maps or Zillow, there's gonna be like a lot of green and maybe one tiny like developed area that's gray. And unless I say I only want to target, unless you want to target rural land and farmland and farmhouses, but for most people they want to be able to get comps. And again, guys, another story that this data tells me. Before I go on a tangent here, let me just make this point here before I forget. The data the data also tells me will I be targeting, like, a lot of people, a lot of areas that are, like, rural and maybe, like, on farmland. So, I may need to tighten up my filter. So, instead of doing a half an acre, I may do a quarter of an acre in these areas. As far as my list pulling criteria, guys, I have a criteria on all my lists where I don't target anything more than half an acre. So, guess what? Every lead that comes through, I can get comp for. It's not difficult unless it's, like, in a really hood area. But I can get comps for all. Great, boom. You love to see it, okay? So, let me see if I have any questions here. Hey, what's going on? Great seeing you. Let's go back here. Go on probably for, like, maybe 30 more minutes, and then we're gonna, um, um, let me, go back to my list pool here, or my criteria. Boom. Da 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 da. Okay, cool. So, okay, cool, guys. So again, I don't want to get too much in the weeds because I want to get to another better market here for you guys that has more data that I'd probably target. But guys, looking at this, I mean, this is how I would analyze that market. There's so many different gems I would take from pulling this list. Okay, pretty nice, right? So after we do that, let's just say we're going to stay in the market. What would I target? Because again, a lot of people say, "Well, let me just target all this." Guys, that's not what we do. The second step is figuring out what list, what areas we're gonna target. So what I do is I look at the median sale price, and if it's 120, guys, I'll go up to 50, but since I only have like I'll use 50 as like a floor, as like the home sold. So let's go to greater than or equal to 50, right? And then 120 right here. Excuse me, 120 is the median home sold. But see, it's like this isn't a large market, so that took me down to 42 zips. So I'll because I that's not even the only filter I'm gonna do. I'll do 20 homes sold or more, right? 20 homes sold as far as like how many homes I want to see sold, that's like my top. And if there's fewer than 20 homes sold, I know in July there probably won't be that many. Okay. So let's do the next thing I do is I filter out any affluent areas. So, like, again, guys, I usually do like plus 150 of whatever the median sale price is at 545. So yeah, about 550. I'll probably go up to 550. Like anything up here, guys. I'm not saying I'm not going to target it, but in my first go around when I pull a list, I don't want property in this zip code. I'm going to get if even if it's like a motivated seller, because if their home is in 32082 and it's $1 million zip code and it's a piece of crap, they're gonna want freaking $800,000 for it. And guys, when you start your marketing, your outbound marketing, your list and your leads that you're getting should be darn near as like I would say I would say as good as PPC. I would say as good as maybe PPO, maybe like a step, half step below paper. So and if they're not, and you target the best absolutely best area and best zips, that's like the tax delinquent absentee list, something like that, and you're not getting great leads, your criteria is only going to expand. You're going to target absentee, high equity, maybe owner occupant, distressed owners. If you're not getting good leads out of that first list you pulled, guys, you might need to scrap it and go somewhere else. But at least like seeing a campaign through for at least 2 weeks, definitely 4 weeks before I make the decision. Okay. So let's um let's eliminate anything that's less than or equal to five, excuse me, 550. 550. Okay. All right. So that leaves us with 43 zips. Cool. Great, great, great. All right. So how do I prioritize? The last step is how do I prioritize which leads I'm going to pull? Okay, boom. I will go. I start from the lowest zip code, all the way up to the highest. So my most motivated sellers, guys, in this zip code are going to be in 32209. Some people may say, "Well, that's a hood. Don't target this distress." Well, guys, 100 people are buying there, and if it's 127K, I want 100 people want to be all landlords. There's probably some flip activity there. So that's why you can't really like. But see, here's the thing too. So I wouldn't target anything that's low. If you're going to stay in Jacksonville, in Jacksonville in this MSA, you can't really filter the zips that much because if I did, I wouldn't have anything I'm targeting. So I'm being a little bit loose with my criteria just because I want to have some zips I'm targeting. Now, if you're trying to figure out an MSA to go to, heck no, don't go here. There's plenty of other MSAs to go to. If you're already in the market, okay, great, you can target it. But like this is a market I want to be in. Anything like back in 2021, the median sale prices were below 78K. Cool. Okay. They were below 100K. They were 78K. I don't care how many homes sold there were. That's a war zone. But see, this was definitely a war zone back then. Yeah, this data tells me so much. Why do I know that? Okay, so I'm going to pose a question to you. If the median sale price is $78,000, lower than 100K, homes you probably pick up cash homes from sellers. They're probably giving them away for like 10, 20K. Why are the days on market 88, 88? Why is it close to 3 months days on market? And why were there only 23 homes sold? That means nobody wants to be there. That means the homes that are on the market, even if they're fixed up, are having difficulty selling. That was the hood. If I see any zip code like this is a war zone. War zone, right? So it's a culmination of factors. I would say anything below 100K, I wouldn't target, point blank simple. If I see like a lot of homes sold, but this right here, it's a 120. Things were turning around in 2023. Cool. You love to see it. Cool, cool, cool. Um, did I get the December 2024 data? Let's see. All right, where's the July 2024? Did I not get that data? Yeah. Oh man, guys. So I hid that data before I put it over. So, oh man, it would have been nice to see. So I'm just gonna see what in the zip code, what that data looks like. So Jacksonville, Sorry, guys. I'm looking. So, so, I just want to see what that looks like for 32209. So, Florida, and we're at okay. So 120K. So in 2020, so about the same data. Once you in July 2023 is 120, and 2024 is 130. 44, basically the darn near same days on market. Basically the darn near home sold. The biggest jump I saw was from 2021 to 2023. So check this out. I talked to somebody, I consulted an investor a couple weeks ago, and we're literally talking and we analyzed this market together. And so he was saying, so he was got out of the game for a little bit, started wholesaling again. He said, man, everybody was telling me, back when I first started, and that's why he came to me because he wanted to know what to target, right? But he said, "Yeah, man, 32209." He said everybody avoid that. I said, "Well, what year was that?" Man, around 2020, 2021. I said, "Yeah, man, of course I would have avoided that area too. Under 100K, so there's no ARV, there's no flips here. Um, high days on market and high median sale prices." But this year I would. So, guys, this is why you have to do the analysis yourself, and you can't just go off of what like other people are saying. Now, I would target that market if I was in there, but again, I'm not gonna target that market. I just but if I were, I'll tell you guys the zip codes that I would target, and then we'll wrap this up. Um, let's see here. So I would target yeah, man. So yeah, so these are these are good right here. Like you're gonna have like your most motivated sellers in these areas right here. Like these look pretty good. Like anything, like you're not going to get a lot of data, and you're not going to get a lot of data if you just stay in the 200s or around 250. Preferably, I would like to stay around that number, but I would go maybe up to like over 300, 320. Yeah, this is what I would target first. See that will give me month one, like absentee. That will probably get like absentee distress, people that bought their homes for less than 100K. People that own their home for 10 years, it's usually what I start with. They owe less than 100K. I may throw like a tax delinquent filter on there, but I may not get enough tax delinquent data. So I can do one or two things. I can target all the tax delinquent data for all these zips. Boom, first, and that might give me like 7 to 10,000 records. Upload that dialer, my dialer, boom, 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 call it, done. And then that'll get me probably 2 deals with texting, 1 deal with cold calling if I'm just starting the campaign. Um, I got 3 properties under contract, 2 will probably close. I got 100 leads, got 100 on follow up. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. And and then I'll go and then I'll get these just with give me 1 second. With the absentee high, I don't do high absentee, so absentee distress. So that'll be like month 2. Okay. Um, okay. And then, do month 3. This will get me 10,000 records. And guys, I only do 10,000 records. I only tell people that because most people have 2 cold callers. Your cold callers can't dial more than 7,000 records in a month with a triple line dialer. If they're dialing more than that, they're dialing wide open. So if you have the rule of thumb is 5,000 records per every uh, 10,000 for every cold caller over a 30-day period. So let me say that again. 5,000 records per cold caller over a 30-day period. You don't want to put more than two cold callers on a 10,000 record list. And okay, so I'll do that. So that'll be month three. And then I could probably do like this number again for month four, owner occupied distress. And then month five with and that's going to be owner occupied distress. Those are, and when I say distress, guys, it's literally how much they paid for the house. So purchase price is less than 100K is why I start. Unless it's like an affluent area, I may go up to like 120, 150 max, but that's usually in a like 800K or $1 million price range. And that's that. I haven't done the list criteria for this, so it may these numbers may be off, but the principle stays the same. That's how I pull data in one market, and that would get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's just say 10 deals closed over a 5 month period. Worst case scenarios, you spent 5 grand on cold callers and data, or 7 grand, and you closed 3 deals for 15K each. 20K. So I'm averaging 20K on it. You guys should be too. So 20, 40, 60. Not bad. These numbers are the numbers I'm averaging, and people that are using me for direct mail and for texting, cold calling, they're using my list. So if you get a list with me, guys, if you need one, just hit me up. I do this for all my clients. So this isn't just like going in PropStream and pulling a list of data, right? The market research is huge, guys. I strategically consult people with their data and then tell them, hey, month one, you want to pull this, two, and then three. Because what's happening is a lot of people, they're just simply not pulling all the data that they could pull in their market, or they're targeting each data, guys, and then guess what? Each data is running out halfway through their campaign, and they have to lay off their cold callers or pause them, and them not show up, and it's just a bad situation. Okay, so there's that. Let me see if I have any questions. Okay, no question, guys. So guys, I'm gonna stop there, and I know I didn't go through everything I said I was gonna go through with the market analysis. I could just get lost in the sauce here, but I'll be going live just more, just more often because I'm going to be through this ebook. I have some topics I want to cover with that, and then really just dive into market analysis, guys. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me till the end. Thank you to the people that are actually going to watch this replay as well. I got a lot of people on YouTube and Facebook that watch me, so shout out to you guys. And last thing I would say for the people watching the replay, make sure you get that ebook. It's at the you can. I would just type it. It's buildtoscalerealestate.com okay, / ebook. Wait, it's playbook. I'll put that here. And also, too, one last thing, guys. I launched a community, so I need to say this because I haven't talked about this yet publicly. But I launched a community, guys, and you can learn about it on my Build to Scale page. So you can learn about it. But this is where if you want that zip code analysis sheet, it's only available the 2024 version. The updated data is only available to the community. So that, and then anything like I know I said I do list pulling, but most of what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm teaching it, guys. So this market analysis for every market in the US, all the major markets, is in the community. So, guys, I really encourage you guys to join. It's not like you guys have followed me for a while. It's been a little bit out of people's price range. So I don't think it's inappropriate to list it here because it's under a thousand. So it's 497 a month. Or you could pay 5 grand up front, and you guys could literally get all this stuff. It's too much to go over on here, but I have a video going over it. It's like 40 minutes, but explaining the whole community, everything that I'm offering. But I'm basically putting all my how to do it behind a paywall, right? Because cold calling, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I can't compete with $3 hour cold callers. I have to charge a certain amount in order to do it correctly, or else I'm not gonna have crappy attached to my name, so I'm not doing that. But I'll show you guys how to hire your cold callers, train your cold call team. If we have enough people that are joining at this level and you guys want me to train your cold callers, I'll set up a week to do that. So just let me know. You get all my market insights. So essentially, there's a zip code analysis, this other zip code analysis. It's my market analysis for this is my like beast of a one. You guys will get this right here. Not this whole zip code, but it's like it's in Slack workspaces where I have all this data broken down for all these MSAs. Savannah, New Jersey, Cleveland, Kansas City, Tampa, Houston, Columbus, Richmond, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, right? Philadelphia. And like it literally goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Look, like guys, look at all these MSA. Tulsa, Charlotte, Boston, Fayetteville, Louisville, Memphis, Indiana, Dayton, Chattanooga, San Antonio. So I have all these broken down, and so you guys buy 3 month increments. So if you guys want to get that data, then you can just get it and then just put it in your list pulling tool. And I give you guys the actual list pulling tool I'm using. I'm not using the one you guys have been following me for a little bit. I'm not using the one I recommended before. So Investor Title Toolbox, I haven't used that either. So that's not what I'm using. If you're using that, you're not caught up to speed. So anyway, guys, it's a pleasure speaking with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys if you do join the community. Because it's insurance. It's basically insurance. That's why I created it. I don't want you guys paying um, um, premium price for that. You need to spend your money on your marketing. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions, uh, feel free to ask me. Facebook is the best great place to reach me, or my contact email, and I'll show you guys where to get that. So it'll be at the bottom of the website. Uh, cc@buildrealestate.com. Either myself or my assistant will get back to you. All right, guys, I'll chat with you later, and thank you so much for joining. And whoever hopped on last, thank you for joining, but catch the replay. Nick said, let's see. Okay, so hey, shout out to Nick, man. So Nick, dude, I put two lists for Nick, and he set up his REI reply account. He has 3 contracts, I believe. So he started texting this month. So he's in. I'm not going to give away the markets, but he's in 2 solid markets. So shout out to you, Nick. Thank you so much. Anybody who's been considering joining the community, you should definitely take advantage of it. Yes, yes, yes. And I've been talking to Nick, communicating with him and helping him through his deals. So, uh, yeah, Nick, you're about to leave your 9 to 5 job, man. That's my goal, guys, to get people out of their 9 to 5 jobs. So, thanks for joining. Everybody else, thank you for joining. I will talk to you guys later. Peace. Till next time.